Okay, the interview I had with Alicia was, I'm trying to just find a way to explain it, insightful. Um, what's so interesting was I took her down a journey of some things that I could tell she just discovered in this conversation. But and what I'm learning in this process is that always keep the camera rolling, because when we finished our conversation, a passion of hers, and she probably can chime in on Facebook in a comment, was discovered that she's actually great at. And I'll let her tell you what that is. And it just turned into this magical moment. But what I love about these interviews is that, you can see a person walking in and out of your life. Just walking, and you think they're normal people. But little do you know, if you dig deeper, you find something amazing about them, something that maybe you thought that person may not have been going through. So you never know who you're dealing with. And I'm loving these videos, the back and forth conversations. I'm loving it because I'm getting to know people and I'm learning more about passion. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know you will love this interview with Alicia and I. Enjoy. Okay. Passion episode number 3. And we're going in today. Could you please state your name for the audience, please?
Alicia Meyer.
Alicia Meyer. Okay. Now, before we started, it was Schumerman, so that's your maiden name, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, it said Clark City. Where did it all begin, Alicia? Where are you from?
I am from Minnesota, Clark City originally. And then when I went to college, I did my first year in Minnesota. I did my first 2 years in a Minnesota college. And then I finished my bachelor's also in Minnesota. But I met my future husband there. And we moved to South Dakota for his education to further as a nurse.
Yep.
And then that brought us here to Sioux Falls.
Now, what is Clark City like? Is Clark City a big town? Is it like a suburb of Minneapolis? What is it like there?
It's extremely small. It is probably 3,000.
3,000. Wow.
Yeah, maybe.
I grew up in a place that's similar to that. So it's kind of like one of those places where everyone knows your name.
Yeah, oh, yeah, definitely. Everybody knows who you are.
Yeah. Now, being that, did that bother you, by the way? Did you grow up liking that? Or
No,
you,
I did it. Yeah, I didn't like it at all. I actually wish I could have lived. Oh, we lived in the country on a farm, and
Mhm.
then all my friends lived in town. So everything that they were doing, I would be kind of not always involved with because it wasn't convenient for my parents to drive to town to bring me to those things.
Yeah.
And we grew up with not a ton of money because I was one of 6.
Oh, wow.
And so my mom and dad had to split their money very carefully. And me being involved with sports was a big, kind of almost like a taboo in our family.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I never really liked living in a small town. Sioux Falls suits me way, way better. There's always tons of things to do here.
Well, congratulations for growing up with the struggle, because that's where growth happens. So you didn't, get this entitlement mentality. A lot of people grow up with that. So is your family still back in Clark City?
Yep. It's Clara City, actually, with a
Clara
C-A.
City, Clara City.
Yep.
Okay, so when you're in Sioux Falls right now, being that that's a small town, usually family is very important. So, like, were they upset? Are they upset you living here? Are they sad you living here?
Yeah, they are. Mom, more so than dad. My dad's very easygoing. He's a farmer.
Yeah.
Just goes with the flow. But my mom is very emotional in general.
Mm-hmm.
And when I had to move here, she didn't cry because she wanted to know that I was being successful and was appreciative of me branching out.
Yes.
But now that we don't see each other very often, it's hard for her, and she misses me a lot.
So before we get into you, something just came to me, and I want to tackle this.
Before we talk about your passion, what is your mom's passion?
Nursing.
So
She's a
she
really, yeah, she's a really good nurse.
really
She's a beautiful soul. She's kind-hearted. She's a Christian. She loves people and she loves helping people, and that's always been her passion.
okay. So she was always in Clara City. She's like at a hospital there. She's worked there forever, pretty much.
Forever. Yep.
Okay. Now you said you had six siblings,
Yes.
and
5.
five.
6 including
Well,
me.
six you include you. Are you the youngest?
Second youngest.
Second youngest. Okay. So were you given enough attention when you were younger?
I strived for attention, so I would rebel a lot to get that attention. And me being an adult now as 26, I can look back at that and say, yeah, I didn't get enough attention, so I would do things that were not correct in order for people in my family to notice me.
Interesting. So I saw you yesterday at the bakery, and
Yeah.
you had I lived in Vegas, Seattle, different bigger cities, and you had an outfit on which I thought like I can totally see that style. I totally dig that style. But even Sioux Falls, being that it's a little bigger, sometimes it's a little conservative. So
Hmm.
when you express yourself that way, sometimes people kind of give you a second take of like, what do you buy that at? What's that? What's that all about? Do you notice that you kind of get that attention
Yeah,
when
I
you express
do.
yourself?
I
And,
express myself a ton through my clothing.
now, do you think that steers from that attention
Yeah,
when you were young?
probably.
Ah,
Probably.
okay. So let me ask you this question. What is your passion?
To give you one thing that I'm passionate about, it's to live a life of pure happiness and not always revolving around money, but having enough to be happy. And happiness to me means not worrying about money, not having an abundance of it, but just being safe and being able to do fun things with my husband and not look at our bank account afterwards and wish we probably wouldn't have done that. That would be, that would just, yeah, passion, living a happy life.
Now, let me tell you what I heard,
Okay.
and correct me if I'm wrong. You want to have a life where you can do things, fun things with your husband. And let me just say this. Do you consider a fun thing going to Hawaii?
Yeah.
Okay. And you said you don't want to have to worry about money, but then you said you would also like to be able to look in your bank account and not have to worry about that situation also. So you do want money, but just be comfortable. You don't want to become this Donald Trump. You're
Right.
saying. So basically, um, very little bills and an abundance amount of money.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So again, I would tell you to break that down more because that's real broad, what you
Hmm.
just said. So I'll ask you a second time.
Okay.
What is your passion?
To be happy.
Okay. Career-wise,
Okay.
what is your passion?
To help a lot of people become happy through their health.
Okay. Through their health. So your mom was a nurse. And she did that. Are you talking about that way? Or are you talking about a fitness trainer, a nutritionist? What are you saying?
More nutrition.
Nutrition.
My, yeah, my passion is nutrition, food. Food, I think, is medicine, and I want to teach people that.
Okay. Now, what did you major in school?
Specifically, human services and sociology.
Now, when you were in college, were you thinking nutrition?
I did at first, but then I got turned off by the fact of how many years of schooling I would have to go to outside of a bachelor's to become a
Hmm.
dietitian. And I did not want to live my life in school.
Okay. Do you feel that you have to go to that level in order to teach people and really serve them?
No.
Okay. Okay. So you were going that route. School was a little too long. Backtrack, but you're still in that field. You still want to be a nutritionist. So how can you go about that?
Well, I have a company behind me called Yoli, and that company provides the education for myself, the training for myself, the team dynamic that I need in order to succeed and become a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole company I've invested my money into, so now it's just my time.
Yes.
And going forward, they train you exactly what you need to say, what you need to do, what you need to have, the culture that you need to kind of go towards in order to get your goals accomplished. So I have a great company behind me to do that.
Now, I overheard you're getting ready to go on a trip here pretty soon with your husband,
Yeah.
and you're going to North Carolina. How do you feel about that? Are you nervous? Are you excited? What's your feelings?
Complete excitement. I love traveling. I love doing new things.
Uh-huh.
I love being young, and since we don't have children, doing things right now when we don't have that responsibility of another human besides ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, complete excitement.
Now, I like what you just said, and I pay attention to words. You said you like being young. Do you associate traveling with being young?
Yeah. But I know that when you get older, um, retirement age is a great opportunity to travel as well. So I don't always consider it with being young, but I think at my point of my age right now, being 26, I think, yeah, traveling is a great opportunity at this age.
Now, it seems like you bought into the philosophy of what I like to call retirement traveling. And what I mean by that is, I've been all over the United States about 5 times. And when I would be on the interstate, I would see these campers. And I just happened to look over as I was passing the camper, and I would see these, older people. And they were driving, and I'm like, oh, they're probably doing let me drive over the United States. Let me go into Canada. Let me do this thing now. And I always had the philosophy, why wait till you're older to travel? Travel now. Even if you have kids, travel
Mm-hmm.
now. Set
Right.
the life up where you can see, because we may not even make it into that
Right.
age. We never know. Okay, so now we're digging deep. So if the alarm clock goes off in the morning, and what time do you wake up, by the way?
8:30,
8:30.
depending on the day.
So let's say the alarm clock went off at 5 o'clock in the morning. Will nutrition get you out of the bed?
Oh, yeah.
Meaning the subject of nutrition. Will that make you pop up and like, look, I got to write some business plans. I got to get some classes together. Would that make you get up?
Yeah. I'm pretty structured in my day,
Mm.
Monday through Friday.
Explain.
Saturday,
Keep going. I'm sorry.
that's okay. Saturday I do work if there's something that comes up. Sunday I take it off for religious purposes. So yeah, Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday, I definitely have a structured day.
Mm. So if people were describing you, they would say Alicia is.
Driven.
Mhm. If they were describing your passion, your career, I see Alicia as.
A fighter.
Why fighter? Why did you say that?
Um, I guess I feel like all the odds are pretty much against me in this career that I've chosen. When I speak family-wise and growing up and the culture I grew up in, my family played it safe their whole entire life, every single one of them. Not one of them really moved out of Minnesota. Not one of them really moved out of Clare City, except maybe two. Even my extended family of my aunts and uncles and cousins all remained in Minnesota in the same demographic area. They played it safe with career choices, nurses, farmers, bank accountants, just stuff like that. So when I decided to do network marketing and become a health coach, knowing that the beginning process of that entrepreneur life is not going to be paying it forward with money, they were completely terrified of my decision because they didn't think I would become successful with money.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, you know what's so interesting? When we first started this talk, you said that you grew up in humble beginnings. And I take it everybody had a job.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But you're choosing to go in business, but in their head somehow it still registers that to make a great living, you need to do a job.
Yep. Absolutely.
Which they have no data.
What's that?
They have no data that that's true.
No.
Okay. Interesting.
Except their own experience.
Yeah. And you know, that's another small town thing too, is that, you know, family is so important. Everybody kind of stays around everyone. You know, to leave or to do anything different somehow, sometimes considered bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep.
So you have people back there like, oh my gosh, I hope she makes it. I'm worried about her. Kind of
Every day.
really?
And I started this journey in January of this year, and my mom still asks me how I'm doing financially.
Wow.
Yep.
You know, okay, so when I first met you, there was a magazine article out, and you were on a magazine article, and it was with fitness related things. And then I heard that maybe you may not be going that route. Was that because your husband is moving to North Carolina and you just can't be?
Correct.
You know?
I can't commit to that length of commitment.
Yeah. Now, your husband, it seems like, has the opportunity to be a travel nurse and maybe have more opportunities to travel. Now, is this something that, like, after North Carolina, are you coming back here? Are you going somewhere else? Like, what will you do?
We have no idea. It's pretty much up in the air at this point. We could certainly go to a different state. We could stay in North Carolina, or we could come back. And I think what determines that in my head is if we end up getting pregnant. Then we would come back to Sioux Falls and start our family and make a house and start that home development. And it's just so in God's plan. I have no idea what's going to happen. So I guess since I started this entrepreneur life, I live my life day by day rather than month by month where I used to. I used to be completely type A, plan my next 5 years, and if it didn't work out, think I was failing. And so, yeah, I've changed my philosophy of life's purpose this year.
So who's your mentor? What model are you following with your entrepreneurial way?
In the successful, like, celebrity realm, I followed Darren Hardy, Jim Rohn, Maxwell. Those are my top 3 mentors.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I have also leaders in Yoli corporate where they are above me.
Yeah.
And knowing that I always need to surround myself with people who are more successful than me. Because if I'm in a room with someone who's just as successful as me, it's not going to go anywhere.
Okay. So when I see you at the bakery, you look very focused. What are you doing over there? Like when I see you on the computer, you see some people have that look like they're kind of, maybe spacing off, but you seem like I have laser beams on this keyboard right now, kind of thing.
Oh, I appreciate that. Some days I am not that focused. Just being a normal human being, I have those tendencies to drift off. But yeah, I focus hardly on people, networking and connecting with people that I've met in order to meet with them one-on-one and get to know them better and see if I can help them. And, starting up, I've learned fairly quickly that I have to develop a relationship with every single person I meet in order to know if I can help them or if I'm able to be in their life. Because being involved as a health coach, you're in their life for a very, very personal reason.
Yeah.
And nobody is going to let you in if they don't trust you.
That's true.
And I used to think I could just word vomit all over them what I do, and they'll be like, oh, I want you to help me, and it would be that easy.
Yeah.
It is not that easy. So
No. No.
No. So,
You have to sell without selling. Is the best
yes.
advice I've gotten. Oh, are you afraid right now?
About my career choice?
Succeeding in entrepreneurship.
No. No, not right now. Not today. It's a roller coaster ride. There's days when I'm like, why am I doing this? And honestly, I shouldn't even say that. There are moments when I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, why am I doing this? Not a whole day. I know in my heart I've always been an entrepreneur. I know I've always been different. I know I've always been wanting to do something that is abnormal and stick out. And it might even drive from what we talked about at the beginning when growing up I had to do things for attention.
Mm-hmm.
It may stem from childhood. Being a psych major at the beginning of college years, I know that your childhood follows you through the rest of your life. It kind of determines bits and pieces about you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, no, I'm not scared at all.
So one person we haven't really talked about is your dad. Because I think that a lot of the times, certain traits we have is hereditary. Like I know I get my entrepreneur side from my father. Uh, Does your dad is he like a third generation farmer? Did he create the farm himself? Like how did he start that business?
Well, so my mom was married before my dad now, my stepdad.
Yeah.
We have a mixed family.
Hmm.
Um, that man that she was married to could not have children.
Okay.
So she actually had to have me through an artificial insemination.
Really
Yes.
interesting.
My real dad, biological dad, I have no idea who he is. And
Wow.
so I have three dads in a sense, all
Oh,
different relationships. I have my biological one that I don't know. And then I have my mom's first husband who passed away.
yeah.
And then I have my stepdad now.
Hmm. Now, with your brothers and sisters, were they all um, brought in that way? I mean, was it?
The four older ones than me are from my stepdad and
Yeah.
his wife, who she passed away from cancer.
Wow.
And then, yeah, and then my youngest brother is my half brother because he's from my stepdad and my mom.
Interesting. So, what was it like growing up in a family like that?
Difficult. Very, very difficult. The whole step sibling thing, like you could probably go as far as saying they hated me and my mom because of this tough situation that they were dealing with emotionally of their mom passing away.
Yeah.
And then this woman, my mom, coming in and not trying to overrun, but just being there for comfort.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was difficult.
Do you guys get along now?
Yes, yes. We all get along now except one who kind of just don't disowned himself from the whole family.
Oh, wow.
He struggled with being gay his whole life.
Uh-huh.
So now that he is out, he has a partner and just doesn't want anything to do with us.
Do you
So
think maybe because he thinks people may judge him being a small town, maybe they're not too open about it, maybe?
personally, I think it's because he cannot forgive himself and the past, and he is not a Christian. So with you out, again, personally, without having God in your life, you can't
Yeah.
forgive people and love people. So mhm, he
Interesting.
struggled a lot. Hmm.
So do you feel you have support when that phone call comes and you say your mom always is asking you, do you get like that cringe like, oh my gosh, like my mom is calling me, what is she going to ask me today? Like today wasn't great. Let me fake it. I mean, what are you doing?
Oh, such a great question. There are times I cringe when my mom calls because she is so skeptical of what I do, and she also suffers a lot from depression back and forth. So she's not the most positive person to talk to about something that is so in need of positivity, like this entrepreneur life. You need to surround yourself with motivation, positivity, just to keep
Yeah.
going and be successful.
Hmm.
So, but I love her unconditionally, and I know she loves me unconditionally. So I answer, and I just bite my tongue sometimes.
Do you feel that she feels that you were her only support?
Yes.
I can totally see that. Like when you left, the anger isn't really because you're off doing your thing. It's because her support is gone.
Yeah. I don't want to cry, but you're probably right.
Yeah. That's what I see. And she's in a small town, and you're traveling, and it looks like you're having fun. Which maybe she may not be having the greatest time.
I know she's not.
Yeah.
I know she's struggling a lot.
Does she suffer from depression, or is that just a depression that you she
She
does?
does. Yeah.
Uh,
Before my husband and I got married, she was on antidepressants, and then she got off of them, and I don't think she's back on them.
wow. And does she get along with the family? I mean, the kids know? Do they get along?
We have kids. They have kids now, so she's the grandma, and
Ah,
that opened up the door for my step siblings to appreciate her and see the love that she really does have for them
that's good.
trickling down into their children. And
Mm.
when you show love towards your own babies, I mean, you can't help but know that that person is full of love, meaning my mom.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best thing that they could have done for the family is have children.
Mm. So in a perfect world, and we know that we can't change anything, we can only change ourselves. What would you like that whole situation to be like if, in a perfect world with your family?
Well, I want nothing more than my mom to be unconditionally 100% happy because I don't think she's been 100% happy her whole entire life. She has struggled a lot, a lot. And it just never ends, it feels like for her. Like she's such an incredible woman and she has the biggest heart in the entire world in my eyes and she just never gets a break. There's always something that affects her depression. You know, like my dad isn't very supportive of her and not very loving and it's just a toxic marriage
Mm-hmm.
and she knows it and it's trickling down into my younger brother.
Mm.
And that pains me because then he lives with them. So it's just my dad and and my brother just not helping the situation.
Mm. And you know the thing that sucks about that is that when you're trying to, get your life together, because we all have our problems in our own lives,
Yep.
and then you move in that direction, and all of a sudden you say, "Hey, I'm going to this cool place," and then you get a phone call, and then someone else is suffering, and then you're like, "What can I do?" You want to make the person feel better, but happiness is something that is personal.
You're right.
They have to find it themselves. So yeah, I know what you're saying there, man. That sucks. So let me ask you a final question here.
Okay.
In 5 years, career-wise, business-wise, where do you want to see Alicia?
I want to know that my name, Alicia Meyer, is known to many, many people that I have helped personally with their happiness and with their health because they tie so closely together, health and happiness,
Mm-hmm.
that I I don't even care anymore the number of money I have. Like a cap on a money, I don't even care anymore. I used to care.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, like I look around and I see all these people suffering and I see all these people unhealthy and that unhealthiness causes them to be unhappy and being at the doctor and infertile. And I know that struggle with being infertile and health is just something that people have the most control of, but they never take control of it.
Mm.
And I want to be known that I can change that cycle for many people.
Mm. And they say that your why has to be big enough, and I think that's definitely a big enough why there. Well, Alicia, it's been nice talking with you and going down your journey of passion. Very interesting. I found out some new things. And the reason why I like these videos is because it helps you get to know the person just a little bit more. So that's cool. So any last thing for anyone that's on a journey to try to find their passion from Alicia, what would be your advice to that person?
I think if you take money out of any equation, you can really find your true passion.
I like that. I like that. Take the money out. That's
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for that.